The holidays are on their way. Canadian Thanksgiving is past, American Thanksgiving is fast approaching, and all of the festive winter holidays aren't too far behind. So what better time to discuss some weirdly specific holiday-themed horror movies? Not just Christmas, mind you, but all types of holidays. We're talking Valentine's Day, Easter, April Fool's Day, and more. A festive backdrop is always fun to goof around with when making a horror movie, and it often adds a little charm and direction that might not be there otherwise. Plus, it makes set decoration easier than ever because you already have a million templates. So crack open a cold beverage, sit back, and bask in the seasonal glow. Hello horror heads, and welcome back to the scariest channel on YouTube, Top 5 Scary Videos. I'm your horror host, Keegan Hughes, or am I H.I. McDonough? Who knows? And today we are going to be taking a look at the top 5 seasonal horror movies worth watching. Worth watching is a definite sticking point with a lot of seasonal flicks, but I've done my best to pick the cream of the crop. If you're looking for more horror movie recommendations this Hollow week, make sure to check out our top 5 scary movies playlist right over here. Excellent, let's get to it. Coming in at number 5, we've got My Bloody Valentine. For an extra romantic Valentine's Day watch, there's no beating My Bloody Valentine. You're gonna want a scary movie to make sure your date's hanging on to you, so why not go with a classic slasher with an iconic killer? Sure, Valentine's Day was invented to sell cards and chocolate, but we're all invested in it at this point, so go all in. Plus, this movie is Canadian, so you know it's gotta be good. We love a small mining town celebrating Valentine's Day, especially when it results in an insane bloodbath, the likes of which we've never seen. See, in the town of Valentine Bluffs, there was once a yearly tradition. Every Valentine's Day there would be a big dance and everyone would attend. Everyone except for on-duty miners. One fateful night, a couple of supervisors left some miners behind underground to go attend the dance, and in doing so, they doomed the poor subterranean workers. An explosion trapped these miners with only one man surviving, Harry Warden. He had to resort to cannibalism to make it and ended up going insane. The next year, Harry killed the 2 supervisors on Valentine's Day and vowed to come back if there was ever another dance. So you can probably guess what happens when the mayor reinstates the dance. Folks start dying. Big time. Human hearts are delivered in chocolate boxes, boiled in pots of hot dogs, and generally mutilated. The dance is cancelled, but some youngsters decide to throw a party anyway. They then become the targets of the mining gear clad killer. Plenty of brutal kills here and a classic ballad for a murderous miner. Good stuff. So hold your Valentine close and go watch some Canadian youth get killed with a pickaxe. Coming in at number 4, we've got Slaughter High. You might not know it from how the movie was advertised, but this is an April Fool's movie. You'd think more horror flicks would take advantage of this classic holiday full of jokes and japes. I guess there's one literally called April Fool's Day, but I prefer Slaughter High for its awful B-movie charm. This is not one to be taken seriously, it is literally just a barrel of laughs. Well, maybe not the whole time, but it's still worth a watch and a few chuckles. On one fateful April Fool's Day, a group of goofballs from the local high school decide to pull a mean-spirited prank on their dorky classmate Marty. First, they trick him into stripping down in the showers, and then they hit him with the good old fire extinguisher electrical shock swirly combo. But this wasn't enough for the little rascals. After school, while Marty was working away in the chemistry lab, they managed to sneak some mysterious white powder into one of his beakers, and then boom! Marty gets deep fried and wheeled out on a stretcher. Yikes. 10 years later, the clique gets invited back to the school for a big reunion, on the night before April 1st of all days. But when they arrive, things seem off. The school is locked and nobody else seems to have arrived, but hey, why not break in anyways, right? That seems like a smart thing to do. Well, as it turns out, there is indeed a reunion waiting for them inside. Beer, booze, and finger foods, as well as everyone's lockers, all in one convenient little room. Once midnight hits, things start getting weird though. One of the beers is poisoned and people keep disappearing. Some all-timer line deliveries in this one and some really great kills too. Shout out to the woman taking a bath in an abandoned high school. How else are we gonna see a melted skeleton? Marty, of course, is behind all the mayhem and has donned a lovely jester's mask for the occasion. April Fools, everyone. Enjoy being dead. Coming in at number 3, we've got Dead Snow. Of course the zombie movie is going to take place over Easter. You know, the holiday celebrating Jesus' return from the land of the dead. Classic. These are special zombies though. They are Nazi zombies brought back to life by a curse of sorts. In fact, they're sort of like the Draugr, spirits who return to the waking world to protect their treasures, which is exactly what happens here. A bunch of students on Easter vacation head up to a cabin in the mountains for some snowy fun. As they settle in, they encounter a hiker who fills them in on the spooky history of the area. Apparently, some Nazi soldiers had occupied the area during the Second World War and looted all sorts of valuables. However, eventually the citizens had had enough and chased the Nazis out of town and into the mountains, where they eventually froze to death. Mr. Hiker also knows where the box of treasure is, but doesn't let anyone know. Big mistake though, as the zombies kill him first. Discovering the treasure later on, the vacationers become the Nazi zombies' next victims. By pocketing a gold coin, their fate is sealed. From then on, it's a blood and gore filled massacre in the mountains. The whole Easter bit doesn't really play a big part here, but it is worth mentioning. Coming in at number 2, we've got Black Christmas. Un classique. The prototypical slasher and another Canadian creation. There is nothing quite like Black Christmas. If you want to watch an eggnog and gingerbread laden horror movie, this is the one. It doesn't make a villain out of Santa Claus, nor does it involve reindeer or supernatural snowmen. Black Christmas is the tale of a big time creep who sets his sight on some young folks who just want to enjoy some holiday cheer. These poor sorority sisters. I think what makes this movie so lastingly effective is the mix of quality tension with the chilly / cozy Christmas time vibes. The winter cocktails, the lights, the warm lighting, it all works super well with setting up a festive atmosphere. But all of this is perverted by the presence of a gibbering lunatic who keeps calling the house phone and killing people. That tends to ruin the holiday cheer now, doesn't it? There are just so many memorable moments in this movie. The search party in the snowy park, the glass unicorn, and of course, the plastic wrap suffocation. Claire's lifeless body perched by the attic window is one of the creepiest images in all of horror, and that ending? Oh boy. This is a movie worth a watch every holiday season. It truly stands the test of time. And finally at number 1, we've got Trick or Treat. What, did you think I was just gonna do a seasonal horror movie list in October and not include the ultimate Halloween fun fest? You're insane! Trick or Treat is the Halloween season distilled into one sickly sweet pumpkin spiced blood fueled anthology. Plenty of other horror movies take place on and around Halloween, but none embody the spirit of Halloween the way Trick or Treat does. 4 tales concerning the consequences of breaking the rules of Halloween, all tied together by a creepy burlap sack-headed murderous mascot. You gotta love it. We're dropped into Warren Valley, Ohio. By the looks of their Halloween festival and all the folks going all out with their decorations, you'd think it was Salem's sister city. Our orange pajama-clad Halloween guardian, Sam, roams around enforcing the rules of the holiday. The first story concerns the fate of a candy-stealing vandal who is caught by his school principal. The principal may or may not be more sinister than you'd think though. Next up is the tale of the Halloween school bus massacre. 4 friends meet up with a socially awkward lass named Rhonda, who seems to be a true Halloween fiend. They trick her into being scared of the supposed spirits of some deceased school children and get way more than they expected. Number 3 introduces us to some young adults in town for the festival. At first it seems that they're all vulnerable party goers, but that's not even half the story. And finally, we get a full view of Sam and his ghastly powers as an old ex-bus driver acts like a crotchety old. This is a serious Halloween classic and will be enjoyed for years to come. Add it to your yearly spooky rituals, you won't regret it. Oh, what fun. Now you've got a horror movie for every occasion, every season. Well, not all of them. I had some trouble digging up a worthwhile Labor Day horror, but hey. So what'd you think? Have you seen all these movies? And what's the best holiday horror themed movie out there? Make sure you let me know down in the comments. Speaking of comments, let's take a look at some of your more solipsistic ones from the top 5 German horror movies you need to watch. Nicholas Kaufman says Fritz Lang's M is also worth checking out. It's not exactly a horror movie, but I think horror fans will appreciate the atmosphere and the presence of Peter Lorre. Oh man, that's actually been on my list forever. It was one of my film props favorites, so maybe this will push me to finally watch it. Brian Baker says Caligari is one of my all-time favorites. There should be a Lovecraftian update called The Cabinet of Dr. Calamari. Heyo, that's funny. Rise and Gaia says German folklore is great and creepy AF. I DM an ongoing D&D stream and have taken a lot of inspiration from German folklore for the world building. That is a wicked place to pull from. Keep it up, Master of the Dungeon. Adelaide Finch says I always love your videos. You are truly educated and passionate about these particular subjects, and I can't help but appreciate what you bring to the table. Thank you for being groovy. That is one of the nicest comments I think I've ever received. I just love horror movies and I want to share that with folks out there, so thank you. And Frank S says missing Pootie Tang as usual. Can't believe I left it out again. Someday. And that's all the time we have for today. Before I jump into a swimming pool full of super glue, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe for more traditional terror. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Oh my god, your outro was great.
Alright. Are we rolling? Yeah, we are. And all of the fester winter human hearts are mailed out in chocolate. Nope. Is it Cleek? It's probably, is it Cleek or Click? I think both work, right?
Cleek.
Cleek? I think that makes more sense, yeah. But all this is perverted by the presidents. There are just so many memorable moments in the movement. Trick or treat is the si swoosh swoosh swoosh. Four friends meet up with a socially awkward gla la la la. And finally, we get a few vul, wow. And lastly, we get a inspiration from German folklore from the love horror movies and want to share it with folks like the dang it.